What's up YouTube, NCG here. You know, after YTS Pittsburgh, it's only right that we bring you an updated Zoodiac. Now, what we'll say about this build is tried to be made as generic as possible. This is, you don't know what tournament, or you don't know what to expect at a tournament, so you've built it to be able to incorporate and deal with as much as possible in the main. However, when it does come to a tournament that you know you're going to be facing, like they're all going to be Dracos, they're all going to be Zoos, you can adapt this deck to fit in side cards or main side cards that are going to be extremely helpful against those decks. So without further ado, we're going to crack straight into it, and I'll show you what cards I would suggest changing when we get to them. So we start off with Double Rapier because it's only at 2. It's probably one of the best cards in the deck. Now, obviously, the OCG can still play this deck at 1. You can still play this card. We thought it was going to be dead when it hit 2. That's not the case. It's still a very, very, very strong deck and a very strong engine. Triple Whiptail, again, very, very good card. The banish ability and the attacks during the damage step is just too much and helps out massively. We've bumped up to double Flower Blade purely for the drop and draw, and the fact of the 16k boost is also a massive help. And then we've introduced one Zoodiac Ram. Now this works off massively well with Chucker9. It also works out if you play the Draco engine, because if you put the Draco engine in, you can use Diagram to pop Ram and go from there. Triple Speed Rod Terratop and one Tarkenton Bog. You will be drawing Tarkenton Bog. There's very few people that don't open up with Tarkenton Bog. Anyway, Terratop engine, so strong, so necessary. One Loonlight Black Sheep. You know, the combo for constant draws and recycling and filling up your board is just insane. Then we main 2 Kaijus. Now these can be any 2 Kaijus you want. We've gone with the weaker Kaiju, and I've gone with Kumongas just purely because it's super. So I wanted to show you 2 super cards. But yeah, these can be pretty much anything you want. You don't want them to give your opponent a Kaiju that's too strong that you can't deal with, which is another reason why Kumongas is a good one in there. But it's just so you have main deck outs to Draco piece, rather than you having to go, right, I scoop game 1, or I have to scoop this game purely because you've got a card I can't get around. You know, you've always got the opportunity of getting into Kaijus. Especially in the ability that, you know, if you lose the dice roll, you know, you're a 50-50 chance of winning the dice roll. Happy days, you're going to build a board. You lose the dice roll, your opponent's going to build the board. These are where these come in, and it's also where the next couple of cards come up. So double Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit, and double Ash Blossom and Joyous Springs. You can bump these up to 3 if you wish. The only reason I've got these at 2 is purely because, like I said, if you lose the dice roll, you want to have as much hand advantage as possible, which also goes for double DD Crow. Now, maining these cards, you can main Droll and Lockbird if you wish. Again, can be massively helpful, but I suggest that as a in card when you know what you think you're going to be coming up against, or what you expect to be coming up against in your tournaments, or your locals, or whatever. But these 2 are just general, or these 3 cards are generally generic. They can help out in so many different situations. It's unreal. So, you know, your Ghost Ogre is very, very important. So's your Ash Blossom. And like I said, it's just to give you as much hand advantage going into game 1 that you possibly can. And then you can side out and make the reasonable changements ready for game 2. And then you finish it off with your single Maxi. Even though you're very rarely you're going to see Tarkenton Bog in your opening hand more than you're going to see this guy, it's still quite useful when you see it. Now on to the spells. No surprise here, Triple Zoodiac Barrage. Most important card in the deck, it's a must-have. This and Terratop help push OTKs. Triple Fire Formation Tenki. Double Fusion Substitute, purely because you have the ability in your first turn to do 2 Fusion Substitute combos. It's unreal. Double Instant Fusion, again, purely because you want to see it early enough for your Norden, and you have the ability to shuffle Norden back in if you want it. Main in double Cyclone, these can be any kind of back row hate like MSTs or Twin Twisters, purely Cosmic Cyclone because it hits more generic. So if you want to hit your, you've got the life points to play with, sort of, but it's your main deck out to the Draco back row. It's also a main deck out to many other back row. One Raigeki and one Dark Hole, just because you want to main the board wipes just to be safe. And you can take these out. Now, it's very, very interesting. The thing with the Dracos is they're either going to make them, you know, if they're going second, they're going to make him immune to monsters and traps, if they can. And going first, they'll probably make him immune to spells and monsters. So, you know, just having these is another way of whittling the board down and clearing it out. Combo, just for that extra bit of shuffling back, just in case you do overextend, or just the ability that you don't have to always rely on your Emerald. One warning, because it is your only card in the deck that is a complete out to everything. Absolutely everything. And then double Solemn Strikes. These can be D-barriers. If you think you're coming up against a huge amount of zoos, then you'd probably put in D-barriers over your strikes. But the strikes are also there because if I do come up against Draco Demise, I do have the ability to stop my opponent activating their Maidens or their Knuckles. Now on to the extra deck. Right, Double Dryden, you know, still the Mac Mummy of the deck. So important, you always have to end the board with this. Double Brawl Ball, you can bump this up to 3 if you want, just to keep the consistency going. Double Tiger Mortar, we all know what she does. And then we'll do one Warbow, and then we finish off with a brand new card, Zoodiac Chakanine. Such a good card, so important for the fusion substitute plays, and just general recycling plays, and bringing back your Zoodiac monsters. Very, very important, because it doesn't target, so you could be overlaid onto a Broad Ball, detach your Broad Ball. As long as you've got the targets engraved already, which by this point you will have, she can bring back the Broad Ball, and then you can do your fusion sub plays and just extend for days past that. Double Diagusto Emerald, you just want the psych ability. There are ways of getting 2 of these out on the same turn. There even, if you watch the second place at Pittsburgh, there's ways of getting 3 of this guy out, but I think 3 is just too much. 2 is enough for me. One Gargoyle Samurai to help push you for games. Castell, again, because it's one of the best generic rank 4s, alongside the brand new card, Tornado Dragon. Tornado Dragon I love so much. Artwork, awesome. Effect, awesome. It's such a nice card, so you must play it if you can. Your one MX Saber Invoker, which is a hell of a lot cheaper now for everyone to get hold of, purely because of the reprint in Dollar Saga. Even though it was hard to get hold of, it's still a lot cheaper. And then we finish it off with a Norden, purely because, you know, now my question is, are Konami going to leave this guy alone and let it get to the Link format and just be like, yeah, cool, Link's going to slow him down enough as it is? Or are they going to be like, yeah, we're going to ban him before we get there? So that is it. Very straightforward, very simple, and very to the point. This is the it deck at the moment in time. Not this particular build, but the archetype of Zoodiacs are the Mac Daddy of the meta at this moment in time. They've proven themselves time and time again that they can deal with the changes that come along. Yes, there are times when they'll get pipped to the post by Dracos, they'll get pipped to the post by Paleo. However, Paleo has seemed to have disappeared. Dracos are starting to slow down. Dinos are starting to slow down. Zoo is the only consistent deck out there that is going to always be at that top cut. So either prepare for them or build them so that they can out and main deck everything out to the meta that's going on. Anyway, so that was the Zoodiac deck. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share. And until next time, guys, see ya.